Good morning. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay, I was just telling this lovely lady here, my moderator, that I am a Google Meet person. I am a Google Meet district. I am Google everything, and Zoom scares me to death. So, oh yay, okay. So here's one thing that happened to me. I'll just be really quick. I have dual screens going at all times, and that screen decided to die an hour ago. So I'm going to need some help from you guys in terms of like letting me know when there's questions in the chat. I'm hoping we can kind of hold the questions until the question and answer period, but can everybody see the poll? I'm hoping everybody can see that.
Yes, we can see.
Okay, so I have just a quick poll, or waiting for people to either come in or just to get a sense of what you're dealing with when you, at your specific district, your specific school community. So which of these skills below listed describes your students, the majority of your students, I would say, when they enter your classroom at the beginning of the year? Hopefully you guys can see that.
Some of the answers in the chat are B, there's a lot of E's, some F's in there.
Okay. E's and some F's, okay. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of, but you know, that's our reality, I'm afraid. Are they initially in the chat? Probably they're in the chat. I only have 2 on the poll. So the poll, the way you can answer in the poll, this is using Poll Everywhere, and it's at the very top of your screen. There's a link up there. Unfortunately, I think you have to type it in. I'm not sure. Cool.
I just went ahead and entered that in the chat.
Oh, thank you. Yay. Oh, there we go. Oh, look, they're switching. Ooh, interesting, interesting. Okay, 2 of the choices above. Is there anybody that wants to share which 2 are, because there's, that's in first place. What are the 2 skills? Is there anybody that feels comfortable speaking in the their mic?
Sure.
Awesome.
Mine are probably in reading. If I had to pick 2, reading and writing.
There you go. I'm gonna say that's the majority, but is there anybody else that can say in the chat, like, do you guys agree, reading and writing? I mean, really, I mean, when it comes to the Common Core standards, of course, that's going to be the top 2. These are basically, obviously you could see the strands. This is the Common Core strands. So, okay, I kind of had a feeling, so I guess I'm gonna go ahead and move on. Yeah. So, well, let me go ahead and introduce myself really quickly again. There's the link to this presentation. I also have it in a PDF form, but I have a favor to ask because I am missing my second screen. Try not to click on a lot of the links, because a lot of the links are going to require you to sign up for some of these digital tools. And if you don't have an account, you're going to be asking me constantly in the chat, I can't open this, I can't open this, I can't open this. Afterwards, if you do decide to sign up, then all of these links will work for you. So My name is Trisha Stanier. I'm currently going into my 5th year at Paris Union High School District. Let me go ahead and move over here really quick. So I am going to my 21st year of teaching. I started, actually, I've only taught in the Paris community. I taught for 16 years in Paris Elementary School District, and I always moved, I was always geared towards the upper grades. And my 4th year was my virtual year in Paris Union. I currently work at Pinnacotti Middle School. I'm an 8th grade English teacher, and academic English is what we call our ELD classes. I'm the Title I coordinator. This is my third full year of being the Title I coordinator. And I'm currently the anime club advisor. And that's how you can reach me. So let me go back. I'm hoping we can get through this presentation in about 30 minutes or less, because I would love to have time at the end for you guys to just fool around with some of these tools I'm about to show you, if you'd like to use them, or possibly just lots of questions. Or there's probably so many of you that are using them now and you're already experts or have some ideas or some tips or things like that. So we're going to start with reviewing what we know about literacy, listening, and learning skills. And by the way, when I say what we know, it's what you and I already know by being professionals. It's not something I got out of a book. It's just in my brain. It's in my experience. It's probably in your experience. After that, we're going to go into the 3 digital tools to enhance your literacy skills in your classroom. And like I said, at the end, we'll take time for Q&A. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. You guys can hear me and see me and everything there, I'm hoping. I'm telling you, Zoom scares me. Okay, so what we know about literacy, what you and I'm just talking to like individually, you guys, what we already know. And I know you, like, I heard somebody say this morning, I think it was in the panel, like, we know everything about John Hattie. We know, I mean, I worked with Nancy Fry for 2 years. She's amazing. What I know from just my experience now is that it doesn't matter what grade level, that literacy seems to be taught inconsistently across the grade levels and the content areas. We also know that students, I guess from the poll as well, they need both content-specific reading, but they also need the exploration of text beyond the content. We definitely know this because we're all educators or we work in the education field. Foundational literacy practices that should be taught consistently and systematically over the course of their career. These are the 4 that I've heard over and over and over from numerous professional development trainings and webinars and things like that. Obviously, building vocabulary. Note-taking is just huge right now for kids getting up into high school. Writing, oh my gosh, we could just go on and on. Discussing, so speaking and listening is just going to be huge for them to be prepared to move into the high school years. What we know about learning and music together. We know from all of our experience that exposing children, wait a minute, even just being parents or family members, we know that exposing children to music during their early development years helps them learn the sounds and the meaning of words, the phonemes. So we're looking at phonemic awareness. We know that music and rhyme and the power of mnemonics, oh my gosh, those power of words, we know how powerful that is. We know that the brain has the ability to absorb music and retain rhyming content. So we know that for sure. We know that music strengthens muscle memory and it can improve academic performance. I know many of you out there use music to reach your kids in different ways. As my students enter my classroom each period, I usually have music in the speaker because it just, and immediately they come in and they've got something on their mind that's bothering them. And I just see them just kind of, relax. So, because middle schoolers are stressed. What we know about listening skills, and maybe you're not, maybe you do or don't know about teaching with podcasts. So this is my experience a little bit too. Listening is the heart of language development. We know that listening becomes a vehicle for comprehension development. We know that reading along, I know this personally, that reading along with a podcast builds confidence in literacy We know teachers that use podcasts, they present a broad array of narrative types and subject matter. And that reading along with the podcast, or doing read alouds or listening in audio can keep distracted students more focused. So is there anybody that has that experience that would like to share what you know about any of these things? So it could be teaching with podcasts, listening skills, music. Anybody would like to share or put something in the chat, please feel free. Let me know.
When you say podcast, are you just referring to an audible version of the text, or is this?
Oh, that's a great question. No, I'm talking like real pods. So today I'm only going to show you one website that I use for podcast learning, but I know teachers all over the world that are using podcasts from Apple Podcasts or any podcast that they listen to and turning that into a lesson for students. It's really quite amazing because you know what, I don't know your name because I can't see you, unfortunately, but podcasts are something that I listen to. I listen to stories, true crimes, things like that. I don't know about you guys, or maybe you have a great entertainment podcast that you like, but also I'm an audio person as well. So I do listen to audiobooks when I'm in that, in the car, things like that. So this is all just something that I thought I would try for my ELD kids because I am an academic English teacher, and it definitely increased my, the power I had during my virtual learning for those courses as well. So is there any other questions before we go?
You have some comments. Someone said, "Wow in the World is a great podcast."
Yeah.
Someone said,
if you guys have titles of podcasts, put them in there because people want to know, because you really have to do some filtering, you guys. You can't just go into Apple Podcasts. There's millions of them in there and just pop one into your classroom. I mean, you have to screen it. You have to look for the language. I mean, it's not geared towards kids all the time. So that's why I'm going to give you this one digital tool that's going to do it all for you. So any cool titles you have for kids or learning would be awesome if you guys keep that in the chat. Anything else before we go? Okay, so this is what we know, and I know we know this. We know what about our students, so our kids, what we know about our students' writing and what we also know as grammar skills. Ooh, grammar. Grammar can be a dirty word for kids. I personally know that below grade level readers leads to below grade level writers. I know you know that as well. Reading exposes students to a variety of writing styles. Reading allows students to study grammar inside context or in context. Reading also helps you expand your vocab. We know that about my kids specifically in my community, my school community, students struggle to write complex sentences. They're kind of stuck in this simple sentence rut, and you may have feel that as well. I know that my English language learners are already at a further disadvantage, and I got to tell you, a lot of my anxiety for starting in August is it's pretty much surrounded by that one statement right there. They're already at a further disadvantage, and now we've been gone for a year. So grammar taught in isolation, and I know this because I've been teaching for so long, and I've also done elementary as well for many, many years. Taught in isolation at a certain age is just it's not effective. Plus, as a secondary teacher now, I don't have time in my 43-minute day to sit there and stop and teach grammar. I don't know if any of you feel the same way or if you feel it being exaggerated, but that's my experience. And then the last thing I know about my students' writing and grammar skills is that if they don't have the ability to construct clear sentences, that they're going to continue to struggle to write in the future. And I know many of you are probably experiencing that as well. So we're going to move on from there. So this is where, is there anyone want to share? Anyone want to discuss? Because I'm ready to move on to the tools. if you guys
A couple of your comments were that they agree it's hard to get teachers to change their old practices. And someone else commented that my, I'm sorry, SPED, S-P-E-D.
Yes. Oh my God.
Students struggle greatly with writing and grammar.
Oh, have mercy. Yes. I totally, I don't know why I left out SPED. It's not just English language learners, but my SPED kids as well. And I don't know if anybody agrees that they seem to be stuck inside this simple sentence realm that they can't seem to break out of. So the first tool that I'm going to show you is a website called listenwise.com. And again, if you're going to click on any of the links, you're going to have to sign up. So you might want to wait on that. And then we're going to go into Flocabulary. And then I'm going, even though you may think that Quill, it's called quill.org. It's a interactive writing and grammar tool. And you're thinking, well, I teach science, or I teach technology, or I can't do Quill. I kind of disagree. So I've done it for years and it's just been amazing for me. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to our first tool, unless there's anything else in the chat. So very quickly, I just want to remind you guys that I'm going to give you a ton of information. It's all in the presentation. There's going to be way more information that we can even handle in a 50-minute presentation session at Google Camp. So please, if anybody is interested in looking further into these, I have 2 more weeks until school starts, and I'd be happy to do any more training. I've been doing a little bit with our district, and it's been going really well. So you all have access, free access to this listenwise.com. What the free version will give you is a collection of current event podcasts. There's a new story posted every school day and includes weekly themes. So you can do Weird News Monday, Quiz Wednesday, Debate Fridays. Those are also included. Every story includes listening comprehension and questions that can be used. You can use it asynchronously or synchronously. It depends on how you want to use it. I love it for writing activities. I love it for graphic organizers. So there are 2 ways you can use ListenWise with your free access. One is you can listen together. The easiest way is by listening as a class. You can play the audio from your teacher account, or you can use their listening links. They have a student access from their device and they listen on their own. Then they also have this new, it's kind of new, which is great. It's this click the share audio button on a story and then copy and share the link with your students. And that article there will provide much more on how to do that. And that's new this year because I believe they stepped up their game a little bit when we first had to go into virtual learning. It was a little bit more difficult to get that audio and that visual out to the kids. And now it's just really easy with a link. Okay, so that's basically the description of ListenWise. This is what it would look like from a student screen. And believe me, I'm gonna go into this with you guys later so you can actually see it, talking. This is what they see. They see the topic or whatever, and they have a play button. And then they can read interactively at the same time. So the speaker or whoever the podcast is about, they come from NPR, and they can be news related or topic related, whatever it may be. So the kids are listening and reading at the same time. And when I show you what that looks like, it's great. It actually will highlight the word that the speaker is saying out loud during the entire time. Then that you can see on the left here that there are always listening comprehension questions. And then if you don't have time for that and you just want to discuss these things, there's also discussion themes already pre-written for you, so you don't have to do a lot of thinking. So there's controlling the audio speed, which I love because sometimes I need them to go slower. Some of our speakers may have accents or things where our kids are not picking up on the language. And they're Lexile leveled, which is wonderful because if anybody uses Newsella or things like that, the Lexile level means a lot to me. It's how I can, utilize them better. And they are all aligned to Common Core state standards. Plus they address a lot of the key shifts in our standards as well.
Tricia, someone asked if this is for all grade levels.
Yes. K through 12. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Anything else in there? No? Good? Okay. Yeah. We'll go over more of how you can use it for your grade level as well. Yeah. So one of the access, so here's and maybe I need to explain this. If you wanted to provide, pay for the subscription, or you want to get it, you know, for your school, which is what I did last year, you have better access to social studies, history lessons, science, and English language arts. But unfortunately, that doesn't come with the free access. And for the first 6 months I used ListenWise, I didn't really need it because I was teaching virtually. I wanted to fit in a current event story once a week, and it just worked for me. It depended on the topic or the content that I was teaching. So I know that a lot of you may be able to like put in, let's say 1 day a week, they get to do Weird News Monday, which has like funny, quirky stories. There's academic vocabulary in there. And again, I'm going to provide all the links for you guys. There's a list of weird news stories that we can go to at the end. There's always a 30-second story, a new one posted every Sunday. And again, these are current events that are going to be level. You can choose a Lexile level and gear it towards your student, you know, whatever grade level they are, age group, SPED, EL, whatever you feel is necessary. Another way you can do this, which is more something you might want to assess them on, is Quiz Wednesday. And those stories are a little bit more lighthearted. They're for all grade levels. I know I have had some colleagues use this for like 10 to 15 minutes, an asynchronous listening activity. And again, there's a link there that will show you all of their Wednesday quizzes. And then for other teachers, they just do Fridays. And those ones are geared like towards more argumentative. So you can do a Socratic seminar, you can do a debate, you can do things, and you can just do like a writing prompt from these things, and you can listen to the podcast as a class. And then you guys can do come together as a class and use it as a discussion prompt or a debate. And those will cover your argumentative standards as well. So again, teaching current event podcasts can be used in, you know, more of a planned out way. Some additional things I know you guys are probably thinking about, you can create a hyperdoc that goes with these podcasts so that it's all laid out for the kids. I have tons of graphic organizers that I've created, so they're note-taking while they're listening. You can app smash. So these current events are right off of the news. So you can app smash, whether it's a story that came out yesterday, go on the internet, find another website or another article or Newsella or whatever it is you're using. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with the term app smash, but that's what it means, just taking two things and using them together. Teaching with podcasts is great for language acquisition. There's class discussions. I have some links there for how to do a class discussion or for a current event in your classroom. I have a couple of articles that helped me. This one was huge for me. It was the 5 ways to integrate podcasts into your classroom. Because at first I was like, I don't know what to do. Plus we were virtual. And then this is a great article on teaching how to use a written argument with those debate stories. So if you really want to, just really go at it with those Friday debates, that would be something that you might feel helpful. Okay. Thank you, Google. Okay. Okay. And then this is, again, ways to get started. There's webinars, using ListenWise for ELA, history, science. And they also have a section that is just geared for elementary classrooms. Again, though, that's not with the free access, unfortunately. But if you really like teaching with podcasts, the current events, and you're happy with this website, this might be something that you might want to look at in the future. They also have lesson planning worksheets, or what looks like to me more like a lesson planning template, which helped me tremendously because I needed to organize how I was going to teach it. And the 7 steps to teaching listening. So like the before you listen to it, the during and the after. So like kind of the in, through, and beyond. So these are all different ways for you guys to get started, plus a little video, not YouTube, it's Vimeo, I believe. So we're going to actually, I'm going to stop there. Please put any questions you have about ListenWise in the chat, and then maybe we can go out, we can move on right now, and then we can just talk about them later. So it's already 11, sorry. Okay, I'm gonna move on with Flocabulary, and if there's anybody that's familiar with Flocabulary, please put it in the chat. It has changed my teaching. I've been using Flocabulary since 2011. Some years I'll pay for it. Other years my school will pay for it. Other years I just use the light. Well, they now call it instead of calling it free access, they call it the light plan. Is there anybody in the chat that is familiar with using Flocab? They also are now integrated with Nearpod. So it's all one. It's no longer just a separate entity. It's with Nearpod. So if you have Nearpod as a school or school district as well, it's really great. So Flocabulary is basically, for those of you that don't know it, it's a learning program for all grades that uses educational hip hop music to engage students and increase achievement. There are thousands of standard aligned videos for all subjects K through 12. You can show the videos, complete the activities as a whole class. You can do it individually. Now, they got smart last year because of the pandemic. They have a class login that's provided for the light plan. So even if you're at a free access, it's easier to push those videos out to your students. And again, they can complete the vocab game, the read and the respond, and the quizzes. And I'm going to show you a little bit more about that.
Someone asked if their site has Nearpod paid subscription, then they have Flocabulary paid version.
That's definitely something to ask your tech people about. They should. It should be there. It should be there. I'm pretty sure the head of my department is Joseph Williams, and I'm pretty sure it's there. But don't quote me. Okay, so one of the things you can do with the light version, and so many people have used Flocabulary in the rap videos. I thought I'd give you something that is more universal for everybody to get started. And this is great for any content area teachers. If you just want to do a rap a week, they have the week in rap, and they have it for middle school and high school. And then they also have junior. And these again are current events. And they take about 5 to 7 current events for the week, and they rap about them. And it is just fantastic. And the kids, and some of it can get into a little bit oh boy, doing this during the elections was just cray, but it was fun. But there are times when I would just integrate Flocabulary into my teaching, just using the week in rap, because it was just easier for me. It's not content specific, so any teacher can use it. So that's something I would love for you guys to look at. This is the sequencing of what it would look like from the student's perspective. And now you can assign these things on the side here: vocabulary cards, the vocab game, the read and the respond, a quiz, or the lyric lab. And you can choose which ones you want. You don't have to assign all of them, because I'll have to tell you, the read and the respond is extremely rigorous, and it is not something I can just pass to my kids. My kids need me to use it for guided practice. The vocabulary cards, you have to basically model how you want those done. You can't just, again, send them off and do it. There are cards that they're going to create, whether it's the academic vocabulary from the video. They're going to maybe draw on the little card, or they're going to write a sentence using the word in context. Again, those are things I've had, but I also have taught 7th and 8th graders. So it just really depends on your grade level. So I also included a little bit on lesson sequencing here, if you want to go back and look at that video. But this is, oh no, we don't want to do that. Sorry. And then this is kind of how it goes. So this is basically my sequencing in a nutshell. So you're going to watch the video, which is basically the centerpiece, and it introduces the vocab, the content, and whatever it is you're teaching, whether it's, oh gosh, and I'm not talking about current events anymore. I'm talking about going and picking a video let's say it's, oh gosh, what's one that I use a lot? Transitions. They have writing transition raps, which are great. So, and there's a discuss option at the bottom, which allows you, it's kind of like Edpuzzle where it will stop automatically and prompt the kids with a question. And I use that often because it's a way of guiding my students through the video. I always ask them to watch it all the way through twice without me. And then I go back and I do this discuss option as the third watch. Then again, depending upon your time and your sequence and your plan, you can build more word knowledge. You can have them be assessed on that using a vocabulary game. The quiz is going to assess them on the content from the rap video. The read and the respond is more with reading passages, and there's text dependent questions on those. And then the lyric lab is more of a little bit of a bonus. It depends on what you're teaching, but they can actually take the content of that rap video. The Flocabulary gives them 10 words already built in for them, and they can practice making their own rap. So I have kids that love this, and I have kids that are like, no, this scares me. So it just really depends on what you want to use it for. But it's very guided. They're not just out there writing a rap with nothing. They give them a list of words and so on.
Tricia, someone asked if the lessons are usable to elementary students, especially in the context area of music.
You know what? I am not a music teacher. I have never looked to see if they have music, but I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't or did. We can look at that for sure as soon as we take a look at it or we sign up. So and I have a link down there at the bottom, or you could watch the YouTube video. How do you want to find your subject, your topic, your content? So you can see a little bit on that screen there. You can go by just current events. They have recommended videos. Once you sign up, they're going to ask what grade levels you teach, what subject you teach. So they're going to recommend some for you. It'll give you a recently watched place, which is very nice because sometimes I don't want to go back and find it. And they also have my favorites tab, which I can just pop it into the favorites. And then this is kind of new. They did a month by month, which is really cool because if, let's say, oh gosh, it's Women's History Month that month, then they're going to give you the rap videos that just go with that month. So if you're looking to do things more like, month by month, they have them structured for that as well.
This video will walk you through the different ways you can find relevant content for your classes on Flocabulary.
Okay, so I'm not going to do that, but that's it's going to help you find what you're looking for, I promise. So something that it popped up about 2 years ago, which I was thrilled with, and it was great for last year, is this new life skills tab. So you're going to see, this is what it'll look like from your screen. If you were to pop into the lessons tab, you're going to have every subject and content area in front of you: math, science, social studies. And then new is life skills. And you can see they already have, this is way better than it was 6-7 months ago, 44 lessons on racial and social justice. So that means 44 different rap videos on topics that are covered by racial and social justice. They also have new SEL lessons as well. The newer ones are the health and the wellness and the financial literacy, but the financial literacy are really great. My daughter is 25. I don't know where we were the other day, but she's like, Mom, I wish someone would have taught me how to fill out a check in high school. And I'm like, well, lucky for you, you have me. But a lot of kids want to know those life skill type things. So this is new to Flocab, which it just depends on what you're going to use it for. And then something that popped up about 2 years ago again was the vocabulary. So if you're looking for just using Flocab for, and these are tier 2 words, and it's all leveled, and it starts with peach. So peach is kinder, and it goes all the way up to 8th grade, and then it goes to SAT vocabulary for high schoolers. And there's 11 of those now. So they're just getting better and better. So this is a multi-week plan where you can use vocabulary lessons and rap. So if you, and I also have a link there, and I can also send you this PDF. You can sign up for it once you sign into Flocabulary. It's going to download a really cool lesson plan and how you can incorporate this into your monthly or weekly plans. So this is something that's just really cool. I used this last year for virtual learning with my ELD classes, my academic English classes, and it was fantastic. And again, they also have links to lesson plans, and there's just one on STEM. I just picked one for you guys. But once you go into the lesson plan link, you'll see that they're going to give you so many elementary, middle, and high school lesson plans for every subject area. So that's kind of for FloCab. I really just hope that you guys, that I know it's a lot, and I know I'm throwing so much out there, but I just wanted to give you guys as much, as many links as you can to get yourself started when you have more time, obviously. And then I think we have time for Quill. So can we move on a little bit? I think anything in the chat that I need to be aware of?
I think there was only one question just asking if the only free version is the free trial, and then the light is $10 a month. Is that correct?
Ooh, that could be the $10 a month. I'll have to look into that, but that must be something they started during virtual learning, because I never had to pay $10 a month for the free version. Maybe they changed that because of the pandemic. Oh, that's just a bummer. Oh, well, that's sad, but hopefully we'll look into that as soon as we have a little bit more time. So something that came to me from one of my favorite colleagues who is leaving my school this year, Mr. Massio, Joey Massio, he came to me about 5 or 6 years ago, and he's like, have you ever heard of quill.org? And I'm like, no. And again, I'm an academic English teacher, and a lot of teachers are probably like, well, I'm not an English teacher. I don't have time to do writing skills with my students, but I've had so many teachers at my site or other sites tell me that Quill is something like, if you're just a technology teacher, or if you're a science teacher and you're like, my kids can't write sentences, or what's going on with their sentence structure, they can diagnose the problem. They can send out asynchronous homework assignments or just on their own independent activities. If you're just wanting to strengthen their writing skills and their grammar skills, this is the website for it. It is free. It's a nonprofit platform, and I'm just gonna put this out there, you guys. So hopefully no one from Quill is listening in, but I got to tell you, I have had Quill now, the premium version, at my school site for 2 years, because we are a Title I school, and everybody should have access to this, whether they're Title I or not. But I got to tell you, the free access, you don't really need much more unless you want to sync it with Google Classroom, sync it with Canvas. If you're looking just to do these activities separately, there's no reason that you need to pay for it. So that's a good thing. And there's 600 free activities, and there's different activities. You can see they have these little icons. So you have Quill Connect, which is just strictly them combining sentences. I'm going to skip over the Quill lessons because those are teacher-led. The diagnostics are outstanding. I use them at the beginning of the year. I did this when I taught elementary school. It didn't matter what grade I was in. I wanted to know what they knew about sentence structure and if they could write better than more complex sentences. There is now a proofreader where the student will fix the errors in the passages. And what's cool about the proofreader is those passages are topic-based now. So if you're looking to teach social studies or science, some of them are topical, which is great. And the puzzle pieces is more of the grammar, and it's all mechanics, every skill you can think of, whether it's adjectives, direct and non-direct objects, you name it, it's in there. Again, 600 of these are in there. The diagnostic assessments are amazing because once they take the diagnostic, it gives me a personalized learning plan per their score. And it actually provides me with the activities, whether they're the Connect, the proofreader, or the grammar, and I can push them out to students, and it's already pre-planned. I don't have to do any of the thinking. I don't have to go and search in a 600, activity thing and go, oh, I think I'm going to pick this adjective one. No, they do it for you. Oh, my students are struggling with homophones. Oh, I'm going to go find that. Nope. If they didn't do well in the diagnostic on a homophone, then they're going to push it out to them. And it gives you in-depth reporting, and it's unbelievable. So the quill lessons, I don't really use those often because, again, I'm a middle school teacher and I don't have time to teach grammar in isolation. So I use all of the other ones. This is what it'll look like from your screen as you push out activities. So these students would have, and by the way, there's a lot of activities over several weeks, just so you know, but it'll tell the student, and you can see the puzzle piece of the grammar. So you're looking at the little icons and going back here and seeing which one those are. So you'll see I mostly did the puzzle pieces on this lesson. So my students would take the diagnostic, which is the blue, and then they would start, I had 2 proofreaders to begin with. And this student here, where it's orange or kind of a yellow orange, they weren't proficient in it. But the green means they passed it with no problems. The red means they did not. So this is a great motivator for kids. They can go back and they can fix that yellow, they can fix that red, and they can make them all green. And I give them as many opportunities as they need to go back and fix it. Because you can see, I know it's small, there's an average score. And they want that average to be high. Like you can see my student Celeste here wanted that 97%. So even though she took that one proofreader, you could see that flag there. She took it 5 times. She read it 5 times, but she was determined to get higher score. And she knew that score was going to be put into my grades. So that was the motivator. So using the student reports is just amazing. And now I'm really excited because this is geared towards high school. They have AP and pre-AP activities for students at that level. And again, there's an introduction to grammar and quill grammar there. We're not going to do that right now. And they also have this new search page where you can search by activity type, readability. You can go by standard, concept, skill, or topic. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to shut up because, man, I need to see you guys big time. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, I love ReadWorks. ReadWorks is amazing. So I'm gonna go and I wanna give it to you guys. I wanna know, do you think these are something you can use? Are you just like, oh, this is not for me? I just really wanted to know, because this is my first time doing this. And then again, I'm not a Zoomer at all. I'm a Google Meet person. So is there anybody that would like to share their experiences using any of these or any of them kind of thinking, oh, maybe I could start teaching with podcasts? Or because I got to tell you, teaching with podcasts, if you just want to go out there and teach with podcasts, it's so nice because ListenWise has it all done for you. So, oh, that's awesome. Thank you. Oh, yay. Oh, there's my Paris. Where's Paris? Diane, thanks. I'm so excited. Just so you know, Diane, I think you're oh no, you're going to Liberty. Sorry, it's at Paris. Financial literacy, yes, that would be awesome. I would love to find out about that music, you guys. So I was going to take the remaining time for those of you that want to stay to go to any of these websites and show you what it looks like, because I, of course, have active accounts. That way you do not have to sign up if you don't want to. Is there anybody that would love or like me to do that, please? Oh, yes. The quill start with us. Yes, I did. I always start my quill year with the diagnostic assessment, and the assessments are amazing because they have beginning, intermediate, advanced. So if you're looking at 12th grade, pick the advanced assessment. Where would you like me to start, Stephanie or Quincy? Anybody want me to start anywhere specific? Oh, that's awesome. Thanks. ListenWise, I know, ListenWise is amazing. After the assessment, yes, absolutely, Jennifer. I mean, as soon as you get the diagnostic information, and you know what, My kids know that diagnostic, because it's not a grade, and I take the names off, but the kids know, oh my gosh, I don't know anything about proper nouns. Whoa, what happened? Like their diagnostic gives them even more information. Like, oh my gosh, I didn't know what I was doing. I thought I did. I thought I knew what a proper noun was, but I don't. I'm like, oh, so, okay, let's start with, let's go with Quill. No, let's go with I'm going to go with Listen-Wise. Come on. Okay, so Listen-Wise is my fave. Well, they're all my favorites, but. So this is where you would join. You can join for free. Okay, so you can see I have my classes synced here. So let's go to current events, because that's your free access. So they just had one yesterday. The Supreme Court rules in favor of NCAA athletes. They did. What? They're not going to get paid, are they? Keystone is a hot topic right now. So I'm just going to pick one so you guys can see. So this is what it looks like from your perspective. It gives you a little background. Y'all can see this? Can you all see this?
Yes.
Oh, thank God. Okay. So it gives you like a little background, and this is great because it tells you the topics here. So if you're looking for climate change or protests or energy or whatever, you can do it that way by searching for it in this little search box here. So I always read this first. I even read this to the kids, or we read it together because it just kind of gives a synopsis. So as you go down, I'm going to go ahead and play this for you. Hopefully it's not going to be jumbled.
The Keystone XL oil pipeline will not be built. A final confirmation came yesterday from the company behind the controversial project, ending a decade-long battle. It is a big win for environmentalists and a defeat for the oil industry.
So I don't know if you all can hear that, but these are reporters and they're talking quickly. I'm just like, dude, slow down. I couldn't even, keep up sometimes. So I always change that, original to slower. Let's see if it's better.
The Keystone XL oil pipeline will not be built.
See?
A final confirmation came yesterday from the company behind the controversial project.
I'm sorry, did someone say something?
That was better.
I know. So, you have that ability, you guys, in YouTube where you can slow it down. And by the way, you can do that with Flocabulary because those raps are flying. So I always speed it down, and they don't sound funny or anything. They don't sound robotic. It just makes it sound better. So my kids are constantly, so as they're reading this, going across, reading, listening, there's no way we can read it and listen one time. I'm looking at least three times for a deeper understanding. So that would be the transcript. Then let's go to some of the assignment resources. So then here you have your your questions are already done for you. And by the way, they are not, your basic questions. There are lots of cognitive thinking going beyond, plus the discussion themes are already there for you. So that would be just a snippet of what it looks like for Listen-Wise.
Somebody,
Tricia, go ahead.
Trisha, somebody asked, does it specify the Lexile level?
Right up here, see that? Okay. There Perfect. It is.
Okay.
And this is high. And you guys, you and I both know, I'm an English teacher. Lexile levels, okay, who in the sky is creating this level? Well, you need to figure out what those levels are according to your kids. So for me, a 1380 is very high.
Yes.
Okay, so anything else for that? I do understand there's controversial things about NPR, but I don't look at teaching that way. I don't have a preference to look at my teaching that way. I'm just looking for content that is, that is geared towards what I'm trying to do. So
Trisha, somebody asked if you can choose an article based on Lexile level. So can you search? I
believe so. But I'm going to say it's in these lessons here. So social studies, science, ELA, and collections. I believe you have to do it through those. Oh, there's my dog. And she's awake. Okay. That is a really good question. I would have to look into that. I can totally get your email and answer you back. I would think so, but I'm not gonna be 100% sure. Is there anything else that yeah, these lessons for these, you know, if you do happen to get a subscription for your school or your team or your grade level, the lessons are just unbelievable. There's narrative, there's nonfiction, there's, I mean, you name it, it's just amazing. Okay, so we'll go from there. Is there anybody that's still interested in me moving on?
Yes, Quill for me, please.
Quill, oh goody.
Hey, Trisha, I'm gonna have to close the session in about 3 minutes. Just
I know.
Okay, we got 3 minutes.
Guys, please email me. I'm telling you, I've had so many people ask me, Trisha, can I meet with you next week or next, you know, I want to be able to know what to do with my kids. I want to know how to start this off. I'm totally open to it. This is what I do. PD is my jam. So please.
Trisha, if you want to email all your participants for your session, you could like send that out if there's like a time you want to schedule, like a Google Meet or something.
Sure.
Do that.
Okay, non-Zoom.
Meet you.
Google Meet. Yeah, so Quill, I understand if you have to, you know, just cut me off, but this is basically, you're going to go to assign it. And I do have to tell you, I've been using Quill now for 6 years and it's gotten faster. It was slow. Wow. And I believe it had to do with being a nonprofit, but it is so much better now. But the kiddos do have to wait a little bit. They have to run it on their Chromebooks. It takes a while for the first time. After that, they get it. So again, you can start with assessing them by using a diagnostic. You can just explore all the activities, which is that search activity. The activity packs, oh, those saved my life last year because I didn't have time to put together these packs. I just wanted, like, let's say I wanted them to be able to, present tense verbs or whatever it is I wanted them to do. It was already pre-done for me. Loved it.
Nice.
And this is their new searching by activity type, which is just outstanding. Okay, so you're gonna close it? Thanks, you guys.
Yes, I'm gonna close it right now.
Thank you. Sorry it was so much.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry, it's a lot.
It's great. A lot of greatness.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, everyone.